saw like this stand with all the, the blue lights, and I felt just like drawn to it.
Had you previously considered global governance?
I just wanted my career to be something more international. I really loved the experience.
But how was it to make this decision?
Am I gonna be comfortable there? I want to, break a little bit the mold.
We have like 80 universities in so many countries. You're like, wow. But then the moment you get to Esade, it's so like international and everybody's so open.
How did you deal with all those little decisions, which in the end might not seem that little when you're making them?
I look back at, like first year, second year, I think it was worth it.
Utopics, making choices, crafting your future.
Hello and welcome to Utopics. Today we will be covering the day-to-day life for students in university and what is going on behind the scenes. My name is Sofía.
And I'm Mateu.
And we are very pleased to have Oliver Cobos, a student from Global Governance and Law.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So Oliver, tell us a bit about yourself. So how did you end up here? Why did you choose Esade? Tell us a bit your story.
It's interesting to think now back at it, because now that I'm in fifth year and I've finished all my students, it's just like a little bit of a flashback. If I remember correctly, I was just in this Esade Undergrad, which is like the university fair here in Barcelona, and I saw like this stand with all the blue lights of the Esade advertisement and everything, and I felt just like drawn to it, and I went and asked them, what are you doing here? Like, what is this university about? Because I remember I had no clue what Esade was, and I just like felt really drawn to it, and I started getting informed and looking which degree was better, and I really felt drawn to law and global governance because of the international outlook it had, and I'm really happy I chose it actually. Yeah.
Had you previously considered global governance, or was it a perfect moment?
No, not at all actually. I just wanted my career to be something more international, to have more of an international prospect, and I think that I was more going for law, but I think global governance also gives a lawyer the perspective and some of the keys it actually needs to understand like the current world, nowadays world. I think it's actually really important. So yeah,
I think it's a really interesting. It's really interesting to talk to someone who's actually studying like two careers at once. And so, have you always known that you were, well, not always, but ever since Esade Undergrad, that you were gonna go for this double path at the same time, or was that something that you found out last minute and said, okay, this is something that I want to get on?
I do know that I wanted to do something like not only law, but also law with something else probably. But I was fine doing law also by myself. But I think like I really wanted like a little bit like an extra kind of knowledge or perspective, an extra perspective into it. I just think it further like encompass everything.
Yeah, it expanded.
It expands my knowledge. Yeah.
Of course. Talking about this journey, like from the moment that you choose a double degree, you start on a path which has led you to, we were just talking earlier, the exchange and the internship. And so how would you say that has like affected the way that you have done the exchange? Because you mentioned that you were in Prague for the exchange. Was that, were you able to study things that you also found interesting there? How was the experience overall?
I really loved the experience. Yeah. I just came back like a week ago, and I'm so happy that I got to live this experience. I've met incredible people. I've discovered a completely different culture. It's just like 2 hours and a half by plane, but it's like completely different culture. The university was really nice. I took incredible courses. Sorry, you were about to say.
No worries. For those that don't know, would you like to talk a bit about where you went? And
I went to Prague. And I studied in Charles University, which is like one of like the best uni in the country, in the Czech Republic. It's so nice. The campus for social sciences is just like so brand new, so nice. Also, the city is like bursting with different things to do, and it has a great student life. So I think, I'm so happy that I got to live this experience.
I think that's also really nice to hear, because Mateu and I were only starting our exchange. Well, for me, I'm leaving in a month. I'll be going to Singapore, so I'm very excited. And it's very interesting. Mateu will be going to Tokyo, and you for sure can talk about that more. But how was it to make this decision? Esade is filled with decisions, and that's also very lucky for us.
Oh my God, yeah. Like, I think in the big scheme of things, it might not seem important, but it actually is for your career, for your degree, because like all universities and all destinations are like very like better for some kind of degrees than for others.
Yeah. They bring value.
Yeah. I think like as in every decision, you really need to like. As in every decision you need to take, you need to like know yourself first, know like, and also like value several things as like, am I gonna be comfortable there? Do I like, what is this decision gonna expand or benefit me in some sort of way? For example, in the case of Prague, I was just like, okay, like I was thinking about going to Paris because Paris is like I love the city, and I know a little bit of French also. So I was thinking maybe I could just, learn French further and improve my French. But then I was like, nah, I really want something like close, because I really wanted like my degree to and my profession to stay in Europe. But at the same time, I want to, break a little bit the mold and go out of my comfort zone. Prague is just like safe, but at the same time, like a different language, a different culture. So yeah, I think it's just like, since I knew myself and I knew what I wanted, I was able to make the right decision and be happy now that it finished.
That's great. I think I remember the first time we saw, I don't know if that you felt that way when we saw the list. We have like 80 universities in so many countries. You're like, wow, there's so many options that we can have.
It's actually really nice to talk to someone who has just gone through something that we're about to experience. So in that sense, we're really glad that you had a nice experience.
Yeah.
Did you always consider then studying here in Barcelona?
Yeah. Also, like, I love my city. I feel really comfortable in my city. I feel like also like Barcelona is like a really good city for students.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really nice. It helps you balance like the study life with, enjoying life, like going to the beach or just like grab a beer after school or something. It's just like really nice. And the sun, the weather, come on. It's great.
And how did you adjust that change with Prague? Like, because Prague must have been, I mean, it's not that different in the sense that it's another European city, but at the same time, there's some aspects of this that you were just mentioning that are not really there. So how did you manage that?
Yeah, the weather was rough. I remember, like Prague has amazing open spaces and green spaces. So I remember every time there was like a tiny little bit of sun, like all my friends and I would just like go to these green spaces and get a picnic blanket and just be there for all the afternoon, enjoying the sun. And then like it would rain all of a sudden at like 6 p.m. and we would just like run and cover in some bar or something. Yeah, like the weather was horrible, but it was nice. It was nice. And
you were able to adjust like pretty quickly.
Yeah. Like I think it's like everything in life. You just like have to adjust, and like especially like here in Esade, I think like most people have more of an international outlook, and a lot of us want to do some kind of like secondment or study or abroad or work abroad for a period of our lives. So I think like it is really important for us to like learn to adapt to different circumstances. Like of course Prague was not like the best weather, or like I don't think the Czechs are the most like approachable people. Overall. They're not really nice. Sorry if there's any Czech listening, but I think they were not really nice. But yeah, like it's just adapt yourself.
Yeah, you need to just adapt to those stuff, no?
Yeah.
I would love to highlight on that, because maybe we could talk a little bit more about this international aspect. I come from Colombia, and at the first time I got here, we are known for having a very warm culture, and I was very scared because I was like, I don't know if people are gonna think that I'm like too much or something.
Yeah.
But then the moment you get to Esade, it's so like international, and everybody is so open. Like people don't really know. I mean, when I got here in my class, basically like everybody, like 80% of the people there didn't know anybody else. So it was very interesting to get like to know each other and mix with each other. Well, Mateu was in my class. So I wanted to know maybe what it was like in your class, how it was like when you got there the first time.
There are people that knew each other from before, but I think that happens in all universities. But it was nice. It was really nice to make friends, and they're really welcoming. Like here as a whole, like the staff, the academic staff and everything, they're really welcoming. They make you feel really welcome. So yeah, I really appreciated that.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
And so you were in the Pedralbes campus.
Yes.
And how was the experience? Because we have always been in the San Cugat.
Yeah, we've never been to
Yes.
Pedralbes.
I once had a meeting at the Pedralbes and I was like, wow, what is this world?
There's another university,
Yes.
university which I never see.
I actually felt really lost coming here. Like I didn't know where the auditorium was, and I was like, wait.
No, we didn't even know when we studied here.
Yeah.
So.
I think like the experience is really different in both campus. I think like the Pedralbes campus is like more, it's surrounded by, it's in a really like residential area sort of. Which,
Yeah.
And I think like you're in the city center, like you can go everywhere from there, really really quickly. But at the same time, you enjoy like your calm, your tranquility, and also it's really easy for you to just do something in the city after the school, or just enjoy with your friends after. It's just like really nice. You can do everything after school.
Because doing a double degree, have you been able to like manage this work-life balance, knowing that you're doing two careers at the same time? So like, has it been a bit tough? Because I remember talking to people that did law and BBA, and those people were worked up. I mean, and so talking about your double degree, would you say that?
Yeah, not gonna lie, that was tough.
Yeah.
It requires a lot of work. It requires a lot of effort. I think it requires a lot of discipline, because sometimes you're just like, oh, I just can't do this anymore. But I think like you need to set yourself an objective, a goal, and just like fight for it. I think like if you are a little bit disciplined and you know how to schedule yourself, you can do it. I mean, it's tough, but I think like Esade pursues like some kind of like academic excellence, to say in some sort of way, or just like to know that you're doing the best you can.
No, I think it's also valuable to look back and say, I overcame that.
Yeah.
Like, look how far I've come.
No, yeah, definitely. Now I look back at, like first year, second year, third year was awful. And it was like, look at me now, I'm here. It wasn't that hard after all.
Yeah, when you look back, you sort of make it seem easier than it actually was. But
yeah. I think it was worth it. Worth it, yeah.
And so on that note, more or less, so to a person who maybe likes a couple of things and is not sure about choosing a specific degree, would you recommend doing this like double option? But do you think that it really helps combine different areas of interest, or like what would you say to a person who is undecided regarding this matter?
No, yeah, surely. I think I knew I was going to go for law, but at the same time, I was really interested in other things. As I said before, I'm really interested like in social issues, international conflicts, and politics.
Yeah.
Now, if I look at my class now, at my classmates, and for example, some topics that are being covered in the final degree project, they're like so vast and they're like so different, and it's like you could see like most of them, aside from law, because we all have done our final degree project in law, but we all know, like I can tell that we are all really like, we have really different interests within global, like environmental law, regional integration, more economics, more politics, or
because it's a huge field. At the end of the day, no?
Indigenous rights. I think like I have a friend that is doing like indigenous rights in South America, so it's just like it's really vast. It's a really vast world. You just need to focus on something and you just get what you like and learn more from it, I think.
I was wondering, how is this final degree project like for the double degree?
It's nice to just be you on the computer and your knowledge, and just like it's a hard process, and sometimes
what are you supposed to do?
I'm writing a final degree project about like some global governance related topic, which is like free to choose. So you have your own options, and you just like select what you're interested in and just like write like a project on it. In my case, I'm doing this comparative analysis on like between the Benelux and the Open Balkan Initiative, which are like two regional integration projects. It's like, it's hard, but at the same time rewarding, when you see like you are building and constructing a paper, like a really long paper that, like, I'm sure that you've seen plenty of papers, or like that you've read plenty of papers, I don't know, but in my degree you read a lot of papers and scholar papers. So now that I'm building everything and I'm like, you know, formatting and doing the cover and everything, it's just like, wow, I'm becoming one of them.
This is starting to look good.
Yeah, this is starting to look good. Yeah, because there are some times in which it was not looking good. It was not looking good. Sure. And I was like, should I just start over? And I was just, no, I don't have time. And you just like keep working and just trust the process, and it eventually comes out.
But at the end of the day, like, I feel especially your double degree, it's the sum of a lot of little decisions throughout time, because but I think that you have to choose a track at the middle of and I'm assuming that you choose the politics one, because you have to those who don't know, maybe you could explain.
Oh yeah, sure. In the second year of the double degree in law and global governance, you have to select a path between like economics and politics. So in my case, I selected politics, but because I told you earlier that if you know yourself, it's like easier to make decisions that you're gonna be like happier with in the future. So in my case, I knew that I was not into economics at all. Okay. Like I don't like economics. Of course, like, you know, like global governance has economic content, but
it's not the focus.
Yeah, it's not the focus. Like especially like if you took the economic path, the economic like track, yes, it is the focus, and you have like lots of econ, you have a lot of numbers. I took the politics path, and it's more like theories of development, regional economic integration also, but just like more as in political cooperation.
How did you deal with all those little decisions, which in the end might not seem that little when you're making them?
In my case, I felt really sure about my decision.
You felt quite sure with yourself when making those decisions, you would say?
Yeah, like not all decisions, but like, for example, the politics one, I was really sure. Then the exchange one was really tough. Like, as you said, it was just like a lot of countries, a lot of options. I could just like travel the entire world, and just like I could just like picture myself a little bit, like what would my life be if I was like in Canada, or if it was in, you know, San Diego, or if it was in Tokyo or Singapore, as you guys are going. And I was like picturing my life, and it was like, okay, it's like be realistic with what you want to do in the future, with what you think you'll be comfortable with, because it's not like you're not going to spend a lot of your life there, but it's just like 6 months, which is not, it's a whole semester. You need to be comfortable.
Yeah, of course.
So you mentioned you did your internship before the exchange?
Yes.
And what influenced maybe this decision too? Did the God play a part?
I mean, no, because we had already chosen our destinations before the internship. A lot of my friends, because if you do the double degree in law and global governance, you can do 2 Erasmus. You can spend like your whole final year on exchange, like abroad in 2 different destinations. And like I know some of my friends who have done like crazy combinations, which is like, wow, that's insane.
Okay, so we have a couple of closing questions. The first one would be, if you were a superhero, what would be your main superpower, and how would you relate it to your choice of degree?
Wow. I don't know, like maybe if I had to relate it to my choice of degree, would be like, you know, like seeing the future or something, just to see myself like, okay, if I chose this path, like where would I be like 10 years time, something like that.
That's a useful skill.
Yeah, I think that's a really useful skill. Yeah, I think that it would be that if I had to relate it to, you know, my choice of degree and everything.
You could make some really good investments from there.
Actually, yeah, I can see that. It would solve like life decisions.
Okay, moving on. If you had to describe university life with a song, which one would it be?
Oh, there's a really like accurate song. It's a Taylor Swift song.
Okay.
It's called like I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, something like that. Yeah. And it's just like I cry a lot, but I am so productive. Which is like those sessions in the library. And you know, like
we can relate to that as well.
Doing projects and everything. I feel like all students can relate to that lyric. I cry a lot, but I am so productive. Yeah, like that's how you need to be.
That's a really good choice.
And it's important to be in touch with yourself. Do not be scared that sometimes you're gonna feel overwhelmed.
Yeah, it's a little bit. It's okay to cry a little bit, like a little cry out.
So another question we would like to make you is, how many classes have you skipped, or do you usually skip classes?
I don't think you're allowed to skip like a lot of
that's
classes
what
in the
we're
Saturday.
saying.
Yeah, I do have skip. Like you have, like you have this kind of like percentage. Like I think like all of us do it when you just like, okay, you can come to like. There's like this 20% that you can just not go to class without justifying it.
Yeah, of course.
Just like we all have like calculated which classes are those exactly, like what amount of classes, which number of classes. I think, yeah, like I'm always like taking that to the limit.
Okay.
Did you ever miss anything like important? I remember once I missed a whole hackathon for the like digital class. Yes, it was so cool on like social impact, and I was like, the one class I missed.
Yeah, I think you guys are like, I think BBA is just like more, like more dynamic.
Yeah, to be fair,
Yeah.
I have skipped classes to go to concert lines.
Oh yeah, true.
That's a bit
true.
intense. That's a bit intense.
Yeah,
It's
same,
like,
same.
I'm stuck at the concert, like in the line, and I'm thinking, I'm missing something.
Also,
But
I have
concert-
studied for a final in a concert queue.
Also, of course,
Yeah, that was yeah.
Congrats on
Hopeful.
getting that.
Yeah, and I passed.
Thank you so much for your time. This has been a wonderful conversation.
Thank you.
Yeah,
so
thank
much.
you for having me. It has been great.